Hey Kings, what's poppin'? It's me, James of Regret, and today we're checking out a video made by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Optimus Code. Now for those of you who don't know who Optimus Code is, he's a longtime PlayStation fanboy on Twitter who recently started his own YouTube channel, and also he played with his controllers as if they were dolls. He was also the guy who made the Pegasus Nation website. Now recently, Mr. Code here made a video claiming that Sony has a new PlayStation Store feature in the works that is guaranteed to be a Game Pass killer. Not my words, his. So without further ado, let's get right into this video, shall we?
Hey, it goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now here we go. Hey, so look y'all, PlayStation is doing a lot of really cool things right now, and we definitely need to have that conversation.
Credit where credit is due. This is actually a slick intro animation. I don't care if this is a template animation from whatever video editor he's using. The final product actually looks nice, so that's what matters. This must be where the sublime video editing part of the Pegasus Nation Codex comes from. Man, the other Pegasus Nation cultists should feel ashamed for letting a 60-year-old dude carry out this whole cult effort.
Hey, yay, what's up, Pegasus Nation? How is everybody doing? Hope y'all having a wonderful time.
And just as I was about to get my hopes up, we're treated to another trailer loop. Like, seriously, do people actually find this kind of stuff engaging? I mean, YouTube is a visual medium and you should be putting more effort into what shows up on screen than just throwing in a trailer loop. Like, come on man, you Pegasus Nation cultists did say you had extraordinary gaming skills. Certainly videos like these would be prime opportunities to show off those skills.
You're getting plenty of gaming in. I know with the pressures of life and as we get older and all these different things, that many things start to compete for our gaming time. And sometimes, life and other things are more important and you just have to prioritize getting these other things done. However, I hope that you guys are finding creative ways to keep it gaming. I know how difficult it can be, but there is a way. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Especially when you're surrounded by greatness, you will find a way to get that gaming time in. So I hope everyone's being creative and able to keep it gaming. All right, so
we definitely need to talk about something that's going on right now
in the Pegasus Nation, in the world of PlayStation gaming.
You'll be seeing a lot of this in his video, by the way. He has a lot of fluff on his videos which make it longer than it actually is.
And that is Sony PlayStation is offering game trials. And this is a really big deal.
Video game trials are supposed to be this big deal revolutionary thing? Come on man, these things have been around in PC gaming for a very long time. Glad to see PlayStation finally bothered to catch up.
Game trials is this new feature that they are adding. And to be clear, this is a feature of the PlayStation Store. This is not a feature of any particular game. It is a feature that is intended to be part of the PlayStation Store. So let me explain what it is first.
So what it is you get limited time to play a game. Now, right now, those 2 games that you can play are Death Stranding Director's Cut and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And you get 5 hours to play Sackboy, and you get 6 hours to play Death Stranding Director's Cut.
What he's conveniently leaving out is that the playtime countdown timer starts the moment you hit the download button, meaning that if your internet is shit, you could literally spend the whole trial period downloading the game and not get to play it at all. That seems like a very crucial bit of information to leave out, Mr. Code. I wonder why that was left out. Could it be because disclosing that bit of information does nothing to help Sony shed its anti-consumer image? Could it be because he's bad at researching? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
People had questions. There were actually quite a few questions out there, and I'm going to cover those questions in this video. The 3 questions that we're going to cover is 1, is it like demos from the olden days? Second question, is it like the early access for EA Play? And then the other thing we're going to answer is it like the free-to-play weekends?
Anybody with more than 2 brain cells to rub together knows that trial periods are nothing like demos, free weekends, or a pay-to-access subscription. But let's continue to see where he's trying to go with this.
All right, so let me first do a better job of explaining what it is. Game trials are a PlayStation 5 specific feature that allows you to access a game, the full version of a game, and you get to play that game for a set amount of time that they have come up with.
Shouldn't you have given this explanation earlier? This strikes me as pointless padding.
And you can play it whenever you want, and you can play it from now until the end of the month.
Except that the time trial starts running as soon as you hit the download button. You can hit the download button whenever you want, sure, but if you want to give the game a swing, you have to be there for the duration of that timer running. Again, he left out a very crucial bit of information from his audience, which is either intentional omission or a sign of bad research. Neither speaks well of him as a content creator.
Right now, you can access 2 games. The first one is Death Stranding Director's Cut, which you can play for 6 hours for free. And the second one is Sackboy Big Adventure, and you can access that game for 5 hours.
Man, all of this repetition is slowly going to drive me into the grave.
But there's more, because the developers reached out to me and let me tell y'all this secret inside information.
And of course, he has no evidence to back up his claim that this supposed game dev gave him this information. No DMs, recordings, or whatever have you to prove his claims. Really seems sus now, doesn't it?
Late Friday, developers reached out to me and they gave me a few details about this game trial system. And the main detail that I think is relevant for Pegasus Nation is that Sony is doing these game trials of these 2 games. They are looking at the data and they are paying attention to how popular this is and the reason why. Just a little inside information for you. What Sony actually wants to do is add a feature to the PlayStation Store so that any game that is in the PlayStation Store, you automatically have access to that game in limited capacity. So what that means is every PS5 game listed in the PlayStation Store, you have access to this game for some set hours that you don't even have to pay for. And you can access the game, try it out, see if you like it. And if you do like it, obviously you can go ahead and buy it. And if you don't like it, then you have saved yourself some money.
That's literally what all corporations do these days. It's called data-driven decision-making. They use data analysis and metrics to formulate a long-term business strategy or plan. Just about any non-lobotomite out there can spitball that bit of supposed insider information together based on what we know so far. The only reason Sony would be testing out this quote, big deal feature is to see if it'll increase sales or interest in a game in the long run, and if it can be applied on a wider scale.
And this whole thing that they call buyer's remorse, which is, many of you know, this is one of the reasons that a lot of the Xbox fans use to justify Game Pass.
By and large, buyer's remorse is a non-issue on most other platforms because other platforms generally have a proper refund policy. Xbox has a sort of vague but kind of flexible refund policy, and Steam has a strict before 2 hours played or 14 days after purchase refund policy, whichever one comes first to the player. Hell, even EA has a proper refund policy of up to 24 hours after first game launch. Sony's refund eligibility expires once you downloaded the damn game. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? You can't refund the game if you've downloaded it? That's some backward-ass thinkings right there. How fucked are you if EA, one of the biggest pieces of shit in the gaming industry, has a better refund policy than you?
I understand that everybody have different budgets, but that whole line of thinking is like buying a game and trying to decide what game you want to buy is just so fraught with peril and danger that you're just like on the edge of your seat, just shaking and trembling, scared to buy a game because you don't know if you're gonna like it, and you just never know what you're gonna do, and you're just shaking with fear and didn't know how you was gonna end up buying the game, and you just sitting there looking and didn't know what to do, couldn't go left, couldn't go right, couldn't go up, couldn't go down, just sitting there just frozen, scared to buy a game, and then all of a sudden, Game Pass to the rescue, and now I'm no longer afraid that I have to spend money on a game, and I can just play whatever I want, and now life is so much better now because buyer's remorse has been taken out of the equation.
Man, stop it.
No, you stop it. You're literally arguing against a made-up opponent just to make yourself look better. The prime selling point for Game Pass is that you can get access to loads of games you otherwise would not have access to for a single subscription fee. That it circumvents buyer's remorse is a side effect and not its main feature, especially since you have to consider that some people might get buyer's remorse from buying Game Pass itself. Just consider this for a moment. For the price of one first-party PS5 game, that being $70, you could get up to 7 months of Game Pass on either your Xbox or your PC. That is the prime selling point of Game Pass. Not that it removes buyer remorse, but that it gives you a massive library of games for as low as $10 a month.
Now, I do understand, like I said, that some people have budget concerns. I get that. I understand that. It makes perfect sense. This game trials that Sony is, basically, this is just like a little prototype phase. So they're prototyping right now to see how gamers respond to this. And so what they are doing is they are prototyping with these 2 games, Death Stranding and Sackboy. They are prototyping a system where in its full glory, so say this prototype is successful, and I'm sure they'll roll out a couple more, but if this whole thing is successful, what they want is to have just a feature of the PlayStation Store that if there's a game in the PS Store, anybody access the game digitally, download the game, play it without having to spend any money at
all.
Man, if I got $1 every time he repeated himself in this video, I could probably afford a full-priced PS5 game.
So you don't need to subscribe to Game Pass or anything like that. It is just a feature of the PlayStation Store. Now, I can't be more clear than that, and this is an important detail. It is a feature, or it is an intended feature of the PlayStation Store.
Which still doesn't give you access to the full game, so I hardly see how this feature is supposed to be some kind of guaranteed Game Pass killer. Again, his words, not mine. To access the full game, you're still spending upwards of $40 to $70 a pop, whereas it's a flat $10 or $15 a month for all the games in the Game Pass library.
Once this thing gets going, if we give it positive feedback, that's where this thing is heading. It is a feature of the PlayStation Store.
It took him like 6 minutes to explain how a fucking time trial system works. Jesus H. Christ, talk about padding.
All right, so now there are a couple of questions out, and let me answer these questions. And I think that once I'm done answering these questions, then hopefully you'll have a clearer picture of what this whole thing is, what it is right now, and what it is intended to become.
All right, so the first question that a lot of people asked was, is it like game demo?
If Mr. Code here really thinks his audience can't tell the difference between a playable demo and a timed trial, well, that just goes to show that not even fanboys think highly of other fanboys.
A lot of us remember back in the PS3, Xbox 360 days, you would get demos of games and you could demo a game before you bought it. And that really was a great way to discover new games that you probably would have missed. So everyone is asking, hey, is this that same thing? Is this just going back to what we already had where all the games will offer demos? The answer to that is no. No, absolutely not. This is nothing like game demos.
Game demos, and the reason they went away, game demos present a really complicated problem for game developers. And I know it may not seem like it to you, but creating a demo of a game actually takes significant work, and that's the reason why they went away. Like, the gamers keep asking, like, they could have just been doing this and they should have never stopped it and all of this stuff. But you guys don't understand, this is actually much tougher than you think.
When the game itself is in development, maybe, but once the game itself is already out, yeah, I'm pressing X to doubt on that one, Chief. It's a matter of getting 1 or 2 levels and a limited amount of content out of the main build before putting it into a separate, more limited build, so it's not going to take that much effort.
That requires the developers to create another representation of their game, and the demo that they create, hopefully it is representative of the entire experience, and that gamers can get a good feel for what your game is playing the demo. Keep in mind, a demo is not the game itself. A demo is a separate piece from the game. It is a little area or level or whatever they decide to put in it, but it is a special piece that is specially crafted and created for the purposes of being a demo.
Mr. Code, do you think your audience is so stupid that they can't tell that a demo is only a smaller subsection of the entire game?
And with games becoming more story-driven, narrative-driven, it is very difficult to carve out a piece of a demo because you need like proper pacing and you need to reveal things in a particular way at a particular time. And the whole notion of a demo is really difficult in that world because the demo has to be enough to get you interested in the game, but then also not give away stuff that ruin the story arc if you're playing the actual game itself.
What kind of bubble is this guy living in where he thinks all games are becoming more story-driven? Maybe Sony exclusives are becoming more homogenized, sure, but in other sides of the gaming industry, gaming has become more varied and diverse since indie devs have been popping up literally left, right, and center trying to plug all sorts of gaps in the market. Also, demos for story-based games are not harder to make. There's this concept in story writing called a hook, which almost always takes place at the start of the story. It's meant to grab the audience and make them want to follow the story. You can literally just have that story hook in the demo and it'll probably work fine.
And that's why this is not like game demos. This game trial is the actual game itself. The developer does not have to do anything for this game trials that Sony is creating. And it is a feature of the PlayStation Store, and that's why I keep saying this. This is not a demo. It doesn't require any work from any developer. This is just a feature of the store. PlayStation is going to do this automatically. The developer, the publishers don't have to do anything.
Jesus fucking Christ, I'm pretty sure I'm developing an aneurysm listening to this guy. Like, okay, I get it. Time trials are not like demos. You've said it already, so now move on. If your audience needs you to repeat, they'll just hit rewind and listen to it again. Like, stop repeating yourself, man. Come on, get to the fucking point. At this rate, I'll be as old and senile as you by the time this video finishes.
Gamers will have access to the full game, and any progress that you make in the game during the trial that progress stays with you. So in the case of Death Stranding, Director's Cut, you play Death Stranding during the trial, all the progress that you make, all wherever you are when you save, any items that you've unlocked, any special weapons and abilities that you've unlocked playing through the game trial, that's there, it stays with you.
Did you really have to pad out the video by giving an example for an uncomplicated concept like that? This is simple shit, you don't have to repeat yourself so goddamn much.
So that is the main reason why I keep trying to stress that this is a feature of the PlayStation Store. This is not a demo. Gamers get to access the full game. Developers and publishers don't have to do anything. So there's no extra work. So this is good news because, again, like I said, part of the reason that the demos went away is just it got to be too much work to figure out how to craft a demo that was representative of your game, and a lot of times it just was not worth the effort. So this is not like demos at all because, number one, it is not a demo, it is the actual game. Number two, it doesn't require any work from developers or publishers, nothing new. It is a feature of the PlayStation Store.
I was going to make a joke about wanting to off myself here, but I think at this rate I'd sooner die of a brain aneurysm.
All right, so another question that popped up was, is this like EA Play? And again, no, absolutely not.
It is not like EA Play. Why? Because EA Play is a paid service. You don't have to pay for anything.
I sincerely doubt that anyone is asking that. EA Play as a service isn't about paying to get trials. That you get limited time trials to new EA games is purely icing on the cake. The reason someone would want to buy EA Play is to access the catalog of EA games for a monthly price. Kind of like Game Pass. Gee, it's almost like Mr. Code here fundamentally misunderstands the reason why Game Pass and EA Play are so popular.
It's not a paid service. It is just part of the PlayStation Store. And again, like y'all gonna hear me say this at least 3-4 more times.
5 pounds of pressure, teams. 5 pounds of pressure, that's all it takes. 5 pounds of pressure on the trigger is all it takes to stop this madness. It's all it takes.
It is not a benefit of a service. It is not a piece of work that has to be crafted by a publisher. It is a part of the PlayStation Store. It is intended to be a store feature once it rolls out.
All right. And then the last thing was, is this like a free-to-play weekend?
What kind of fucking retard is really going to think that a timed trial period is like a free weekend? Fucking hell, the difference is in the name. Timed trial period and free weekend. Two very different things. Seriously, he must think his audience is filled with concave heads if he thinks that they can't differentiate it by name alone.
So no, also no, it's not like a free-to-play weekend either because it's not limited to a specific weekend when you can try it out. So right now, the game trials is running now and it's running to the end of October. Now, but this is just during this little prototype phase. But that's okay, again, because this is just a prototype. What they are really after is anytime the game is in the store, I'll say it again, it is a feature of the PlayStation Store.
You're almost at the end of the video, James. You can do this. There's no need to put the toaster in the bathtub. Yet.
If the game is in the store, you have access to a trial for the entire time that the game is in the store. So, as I'm sure y'all can see, this is a really good idea. And again, it's in the prototype phase though. And so that's why developers reached out to me. It's like, hey, Code, make sure that you are letting people know what this is. Make sure you are publicizing this so that the PlayStation Nation understands what the significance of this thing is.
Again, I sincerely doubt that a dev actually reached out and told him this. Now, could one of them have done this? Perhaps. It's not impossible, certainly. But given that other content creators with larger followings than Mr. Code here have received jack all in terms of leaks from devs, that all of this supposed insider secrets can be reasonably inferred based on publicly available information, and that there's no evidence of this supposed insider information being given to him, well, I'm sure you can come to your own conclusions. I trust you kings are that smart.
So what can we do?
How about we just stop it right here? The rest of his video is just him telling people to use the trial feature and also repeating the shit he already said. So we're pretty much done here. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and join my Discord server if you feel like it. Link is below. Also, shout out to that one guy in Iraq that's watching my videos. I hope you're doing alright, buddy. As always, this has been Teams of Regret, wishing you all good luck and Godspeed. Signing out.